Before the word traitor ever followed his name, Benedict Arnold was running out of time, money, and faith. The roads beneath him were muddy with war, his boots worn thin by years of service, his body scarred in places no one could see. In those early hours, history had not yet decided who he would become. What it held instead was a man at the edge of exhaustion, carrying choices that would outlive him. Benedict Arnold was born in 1741 in Norwich, Connecticut, into a family that once knew stability but slid gradually into decline. His father, also named Benedict, struggled with debt and alcoholism, and the family's reputation suffered as a result. Young Arnold grew up keenly aware of how easily status could be lost and how little sympathy followed failure. Apprenticed as a merchant, he learned early the value of ambition, risk, and relentless effort. By the time resistance to British authority hardened into armed conflict, Arnold was already a man accustomed to staking everything on his own resolve. When the American Revolutionary War began in 1775, Arnold threw himself into the patriot cause with intensity and speed. He was not compelled by ideology alone. The rebellion offered opportunity, social, military, and personal. Arnold organized militia units, funded expeditions from his own pocket, and pushed constantly for action. He was bold to the point of recklessness, but also capable, decisive, and effective. His early service during the capture of Fort Ticonderoga helped secure vital artillery and demonstrated his willingness to act before others finished debating. The war's early years were chaotic, marked by improvisation rather than coordination. Arnold thrived in this environment. During the ill-fated invasion of Quebec, he led troops through brutal winter conditions, sustaining a leg wound that nearly ended his life. Though the campaign failed, his leadership under extreme hardship earned him respect among soldiers and fellow officers. He returned to service visibly marked by injury, but driven by the belief that sacrifice would eventually be recognized. Arnold's desire, however, went beyond victory over Britain. He wanted acknowledgement, rank, and restoration of honor that his early life had denied him. He believed merit should outweigh pedigree, and he expected promotion and respect in return for risk. In this, he was not alone, but Arnold felt perceived slights more sharply than most. As the Continental Army professionalized, politics and personal alliances increasingly shaped advancement. Arnold found himself passed over for promotion multiple times in favor of men he believed less deserving. The obstacles he faced were not only external enemies but internal rivalries. Accusations of misconduct followed him, often tied to his aggressive business dealings while commanding key posts. Investigations were launched, some charges dismissed, others lingering without clear resolution. Congress reprimanded him mildly in one instance, a public blow that stung deeply. Arnold felt his sacrifices were met not with gratitude but suspicion. Wounded physically and increasingly embittered, he began to feel alienated from the cause he had once served with conviction. Despite this, Arnold continued to fight. In 1777, at the Battle of Saratoga, he played a decisive role in one of the war's most important American victories. Leading troops into fierce combat, he was again severely wounded in the same leg, an injury that left him permanently impaired. The victory helped bring France into the war on the American side, altering its global balance. Yet even here, Arnold's contributions were complicated. His superiors questioned his conduct, and command disputes overshadowed his role. He emerged a hero in public memory, but privately resentful and financially strained. As the war dragged on, Arnold's personal situation worsened. Medical costs mounted. Promised reimbursements were delayed or denied. He struggled to support himself, relying increasingly on credit. His sense of grievance deepened, reinforced by what he perceived as hypocrisy among revolutionary leaders who spoke of virtue while advancing their own interests. Arnold did not see himself as betraying ideals. He saw himself as abandoned by them. In 1778, Arnold was appointed military governor of Philadelphia after British forces evacuated the city. The appointment should have marked a turning point. Instead, it intensified his conflicts. Philadelphia was politically divided, and Arnold's open association with loyalist-leaning elites drew criticism. He married Peggy Shippen, a young woman from a prominent family with strong ties to British officers. Through social circles and private correspondence, Arnold was exposed to alternative perspectives on the war, arguments that questioned the competence and unity of the revolutionary government. The shift in Arnold's course did not occur suddenly. It unfolded through correspondence, financial desperation, and wounded pride. By 1779, he had begun secret communications with British officials, offering information in exchange for money and rank. To the British, Arnold was a valuable asset, a high-ranking American officer with insider knowledge and a reputation for bravery. To Arnold, the British offered what he believed the Americans had denied him: recognition, compensation, and stability. The turning point came with Arnold's command of West Point, a strategically vital fort controlling the Hudson River. Its capture would have split the colonies and dealt a severe blow to the American war effort. Arnold agreed to hand it over to the British in exchange for payment and a commission in the British Army. The plan was intricate and dependent on secrecy. For a time, it held. In September 1780, the plot unraveled when British Major John Andre, Arnold's contact, was captured carrying incriminating documents. Andre was tried and executed as a spy, a death that resonated deeply on both sides of the conflict. Arnold, warned just in time, fled to British lines. West Point remained in American hands, and Arnold's name became synonymous with betrayal almost overnight. The result was immediate and lasting. Arnold was commissioned as a brigadier general in the British Army, but he never gained the trust he sought. To the British, he was useful but suspect. To the Americans, unforgivable. He led raids against former compatriots, actions that hardened public hatred but brought little strategic advantage. His military career under the British was brief and unsatisfying. After the war, Arnold lived in exile, moving between Britain and Canada, struggling to establish himself in business. The rewards he had expected did not materialize in the form he imagined. He remained defensive about his choices, insisting he had acted out of principle and necessity. History, however, judged him differently. The impact of Arnold's betrayal extended beyond the immediate danger he posed. It reinforced American fears of internal collapse and highlighted the fragility of trust within the revolutionary movement. It also exposed the human cost of prolonged war, how ambition, injury, neglect, and resentment could erode loyalty over time. Arnold's story complicated the narrative of clear heroes and villains, reminding contemporaries and later generations that revolutions are lived by individuals, each with private struggles unseen by the cause they serve. Benedict Arnold's legacy is inseparable from the act that defined him, but it cannot be understood without what came before. He was courageous, capable, and instrumental at moments when the American cause teetered. He was also proud, wounded, and increasingly isolated. His betrayal was not the product of a single flaw, but of accumulated fractures between expectation and reality, sacrifice and reward. In the end, Arnold did not simply turn against America. He turned away from a future in which he no longer saw a place for himself. His name endured not because he lacked ability or conviction, but because his choices revealed how fragile allegiance can be when recognition fades and trust collapses. History remembers him as a warning, not of treachery alone, but of how easily heroes can be lost before anyone realizes they are slipping away.